Today this is a litter-strewn greenway behind retail parks, but in 1879 this was a railway cutting and there was no street on the other side of the line. The Potteries Loop Line was operated by the North Staffordshire Railway. This train simulation shows a 1938 passenger service from Stoke on its way to Hanley. It went on to Kidsgrove at the end of the line. When built, Wedgwood Street was off what was called Mill Street, opposite Shelton Bar Ironworks. With less than 10 terrace houses, it was very short and ended with the twin tracks of railway line. The railway did not pass through Etruria, it defined where the town stopped. In the 1950s, the street names across the 6 towns of Stoke-on-Trent were rationalised. There were 5 Wedgwood Streets. This is the only street to survive with its original name, but it was renamed Josiah Wedgwood Street. The 4 Wedgwood Streets in Burslem, Tunstall, Smallthorne and Longton had their names completely changed. This is Josiah Wedgwood Street today on the other side of the railway line. The extension took place in the early years of the 20th century as Etruria expanded. The houses here number 19 to 57 before the street merges with Garnet Street. But there is no bridge, just a gap with a muddy path down and up the 2 banks. You can see to your left the original concrete layered fence built to go alongside the railway. There was a big bridge here, a complete rebuild from the original footbridge that allowed local workers to cross the railway line to work at the iron and steel works. Even 10 years ago, there were railings in use next to a path to get down to the bottom. As we continue to walk parallel to Etruria Road, it is quite manageable, except that tree growth in the 2 embankments hinder what should be a great view in both directions. You can just make out the red steel structure of the flyover over the roundabout where Etruria Road meets the Cobridge Road. There is also, through the trees, the first view of the old Rose and Crown public house that was built in the 1860s, the time of the railway. It was a hub of the community for decades and a staple for tired and weary workers from the surrounding ironworks, mines and pot banks. It started as a 10-bedroom house before it gained its licence to be an ale house. As we make our way up the path to the road level, you can see the old wooden railway sleepers that have been left to make some makeshift steps. This is the flyover in all its glory. On the far side of the roundabout is Festival Way, named after the National Garden Festival held in 1986. The Rose and Crown pub suffered from mining subsidence over the years. In the first half of the 20th century, a new frontage to the pub was added. In 1985, it won the Camera Potteries Pub of the Year. The left-hand side was the dining section, but it did not dilute the venue's appeal as a pub, as there was a cosy front bar with a beautiful coal fire. The pub became offices in the late 1990s. This is the map of the walk featured in this clip. It's a worthy heritage walk that most people can follow. If you are a fan of Josiah Wedgwood, this should be on the tourist map. So should this, a visit to Etruria Hall, the home of Josiah Wedgwood, which is about 5 minutes walk from these offices. It is now part of the Hilton Hotel chain. Wedgwood Street itself was historically significant and deserves more attention than it's getting today. So this short stretch by the Rose and Crown is all that most people ever see of the Potteries Loop Line today. But this was never just a local fragment. It was part of a railway that continued right through Etruria and into Hanley. And from this point on, it doesn't end. It simply disappears. That's where we are heading next. See you on the other side. Thanks for watching.